now for a quick practical session. By the end of this video, you'll have made your first call to Laguna and you'll know which of the three ramp ups is the right one for you. We have three ways in: an API key, open router, or the open weights. So let's get into it. The API key method is the fastest and is the most official. Open router is the no account already in my stack option, and the open weights is a run it yourself route. We'll actually do the first two live right now, and then I'll quickly talk about the third at the end of this tutorial. Head on over to poolside.ai/get started in order to see how you're able to get started with Poolside using your CLI. As you can see here, we provide it in Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. For sake of reference, I'm currently using Mac. So let's run this within the terminal. We copy this line and let's paste it. Paste it into your project folder and you should see this pop up. Just hit a quick Y on that and it will download Pool for you. If you get any errors such as the one about Pool not being on your path yet, just run export path or rerun with the update path 1. And then it'll update your shell config automatically. The next step is authentication. The Pool login command will open platform.poolside.ai in your browser. Then, within your browser, you will generate an API key, which you will then put into your CLI or terminal. And this will then allow you to authenticate with Poolside. So let's go ahead and do that now. So I've copied and pasted this. Let's do Pool login. We have multiple options on which you will be able to do this. Either log in with Poolside platform, with an existing Poolside tenant, log in with Open Router, or connect with an OpenAI compatible provider. In this case, I'm going to hit log in with Poolside platform. You should be then brought to this screen where it gets you to get started. Log in with whichever methodology you wish. You will be then brought to the platform.poolside.ai, which will then generate an API key for you automatically. Now, make sure that you copy this API key immediately and put it somewhere secret and somewhere safe. Once you're off this screen, you'll be no longer able to access the API key and will have to create a new one. Now, let's head on back here and input our API key. Hit enter, and the setup will then be complete. In order to authenticate that our API key is successfully connected from our CLI to the Poolside endpoint, let's run this command above. Now, this will be on the platform website, so you can check that out in order to get this. Let's hit it on a quick run. And as we can see, our API key is valid and connecting. Once that is complete, now all you have to do is type pool and you'll be brought into our Pool instance. Now, let's take a look at how Open Router uses the Laguna models. As you can see, Open Router provides a pretty intricate and great step-by-step process on how you can incorporate our models using their platform. So, first things first, create an API key. Let's take a look. Let's give it a generic name. No expiration. Copy it, same difference. Make sure to copy and paste this somewhere secret and safe because you won't be able to access it again. Going back to our terminal, let's ensure that we export our Open Router API key within our terminal so that it's directly accessible. So I'm going to use the export function. Using a curl command, we should be able to see that they're able to communicate with each other. The output of this response shows us that Open Router and Poolside are successfully able to communicate with each other using the Poolside Laguna XS 2.1 model. Okay, on to the third path, and this is the one with the most control. You run the model yourself. You download the weights straight from, let's say, Hugging Face, and then you do whatever you'd like with them. You can evaluate, fine-tune, quantize, or serve them on your own stack. This is the path that makes self-hosted and fully air-gapped deployments possible because you're holding the actual model and not externally accessing it. This is our official Hugging Face page where we post all of our models and the collections of models. We also have our different blog posts and you guys can get involved. So let's click into one of these collections here. Here you can see our flagship model, the Laguna M1, where we discuss the different parameters. We also give different highlights and overviews about the different things that our models have, along with some benchmarking results, how we compare against other models, and also the different usages and how to properly install and use this, along with our download links. I'd recommend getting involved in the community here. You can even copy it to your own bucket. You can see the different licensing, and you can see all of the different files and versionings that we've had. This is just one example of one of the 3 models that we currently offer on our menu. So I definitely recommend checking it out. And you can also come in here and install whichever things that you need to succeed with Poolside. Which one should you pick? If you just want a response today and you can get a key, you should use the API. It's the default, fastest, both models, and it's our official endpoint. I think you should reach for Open Router if you don't have a Poolside account yet, or you're already routing everything through it. And go open weights when you need to run it yourself for self-hosting, air gapping, quantizing, fine-tuning, or benchmarking. The rule of thumb is the more control you want, the more setup you want. Start where you actually need to be, not further down the stack than you think you should be. And on that note, that is where I'll end this presentation today. I'd like to thank you all so much for your time. My name is Ben, and this has been my presentation. Goodbye.